What exactly are the latest Bangladesh protests hoping to achieve? What can we expect from the 5 demands made by the protesters? Is Bangladesh really a new Bangladesh in the making? This report puts recent events into context. Protesters in Bangladesh are up in arms once again. They have been demanding the resignation of President Shahabuddin Chuppu. Shahabuddin had triggered the protests earlier this week when he claimed he had no documentary evidence of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation. This time the protesters made 5 key demands. Abolition of the 1972 constitution. They want a new constitution in the context of 2024. They have succeeded in banning the Bangladesh Chhatra League, the students' wing of the Awami League, which they had accused of perpetuating political violence and authoritarian control. They want the resignation of President Mohammad Shahabuddin, a jurist, civil servant and politician who was elected unopposed in 2023 after being nominated by the Awami League. They also want earlier elections held in 2014, 2018 and 2024 under Sheikh Hasina to be declared illegal and those who claim to hold public office under them to be disqualified. Finally, they want the proclamation of a new republic which keeps the spirit of the August uprising that led to Sheikh Hasina's ouster. Let's go back a little in time and look at some of the reasons that led to this uprising in the first place. The unrest began in July with student protests against civil service job quotas, which were later withdrawn. The Awami League was being accused of dominating state institutions, undermining judicial independence, and curtailing freedom of expression. The protesters felt there was high unemployment, soaring inflation, and a lack of opportunities for the youth. The protesters had lost faith in existing political parties that they had accused of violent clashes for power. Authorities under the interim government now believe they are acting in the best interest of a new Bangladesh.
Any syndicate would be broken by us. Then only analyzing the market situation, we can detect them, we can locate their position, their status, and we will intervene there. If necessary, we will use our legal instruments that has been given by the law.
The concept of a new Bangladesh is unclear as of now. The student-led protesters hope to build a society that avoids autocratic behavior and focuses on democratic principles, equal employment opportunities, and a free press and judiciary. However, since the interim government of the Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus took office, minorities in Bangladesh, particularly Hindus, have been targeted due to a combination of political, social, and historical factors, with attacks also on Hindu properties and temples. Bureau Report, DD India. Riva Ganguly Das, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, is joining us now with more on this story. Ambassador Das, do you see these protests, petering out, or do you think that they are going to grow till these demands are met?
Some of the demands that have been made are quite unrealistic and legally untenable. For instance, to declare, all the previous governments as illegal and institutions attached to them as illegal, I think that will put the entire future of Bangladesh into a lot of, uncertainty. Because you cannot, this has absolutely far-reaching legal implications, and I think this is it will be, if not difficult, it will be impossible for any government to actually meet such a demand. The demand for a new constitution. Now, you see, who's going to write this new constitution? After all, constitutions of countries don't get written by appointed people. You have to have some degree of voice of the people in the writing of the constitution, which means, constituent assembly, or at least an elected parliament, which, goes into the whole process. So again, the legality of such a process can be questioned, and it will be very dangerous for the future of Bangladesh to, embark on processes like that. A new republic. Now, they demand for a new republic. What exactly does that mean? What are the values of such a new republic? And, a large part of the new round of protests is about democracy. But
Yes.
what has happened since 5th August in Bangladesh is exactly a repetition of what the whole movement was against.
Okay.
Because people have been removed arbitrarily, no rule of law is being followed, the judiciary is not being allowed to function, and a mob simply goes somewhere and puts pressure on a person to resign or to leave office. So this is really not democracy, and this
Okay.
is a repeat of exactly what they have accused Awami League of doing all these years.
Ambassador Ganguly, many of the advisors also of the interim government, they don't seem to be in support of the resignation of the president. So do you see this in a sense that they also want to preserve some form of institutional democracy that exists?
See, the Bangladesh government at present is in a sort of a questionable legal entity. They have taken oath of office on the basis of the constitution that exists right now. Now, a president, there is, and the president has given them
Sworn
the
them
oath
in,
of.
yes. Yes.
Now, they are demanding that this president should now leave. Now, if this president should resign, who will he give his resignation to? Because as per the constitution, the resignation can be accepted only by the speaker. The speaker is not there. And if the president goes, then as one of the political parties has said, there is a chance of political uncertainty and political vacuum. And the government that exists right now, the interim government, it does not reflect the will of the people. It has been put there by those who were in the forefront of the protest movement. And
Right.
Most of the people in this government are not elected, have no political background. They do not represent political parties. So I
Yes.
think Bangladesh is going through a very, very difficult period, and there are serious legal and constitutional issues that the country has to grapple with as it moves forward.
So how long do you think this interim period is going to last? When do you think the country can have elections again?
See, as I see it now, initially the army chief had said last month that in 18 months election will be held. At that point, the interim government sort of made an announcement. I mean, Professor Yunus himself said that we will decide when the election will be held. And then one of the advisors said the election will be held in 2025. But I think there is, after the latest round of protests, I think there's going to be impatience among the political parties, particularly BNP, would not like to wait for an indefinite period. And there are more and more voices coming out of Bangladesh now saying that, you have to have an election as soon as possible.
Okay.
So really the interim government will have to do some introspection and come up with a timeline of exactly how they want to move forward, what will come first. And, they have to prioritize basically on the various activities that they have taken upon themselves. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pressure on having elections.
A final question, ma'am. The Awami League did seem to have popular support. After all, it won so many elections. Surely some support still exists in pockets. So what do you think, the supporters of the Awami League will be doing at this time?
See, Awami League has played an absolutely historical role in the birth of Bangladesh. You cannot deny the role that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman played and the party played. Let us go back a little in history. In 75, when Sheikh Mujib was assassinated, Awami League was completely decimated. It was a time of great turmoil. But Awami League came back. It has that resilience, it has the ability to come back, and every election has shown that, by and large, the voting percentage between Awami League and BNP is plus or minus, 5% or something. So there is a considerable amount of more than 30% of the people in every election sort of vote for the Awami League. So to say that, Awami League will be finished or will be gone forever, I don't think that is possible. You cannot, it may be, for the time being, simply, the kind of tactics that people are using on the road, on the streets. Awami League leaders are not allowed to, they're on the run basically. And if somebody surfaces somewhere, he's beaten to death.
Yes.
Army League will take a little time to regroup itself, but it cannot just simply disappear. It's a party with a lot of grassroots support. It is a very strong cadre-based party, and it has the ability to come back. And so history will tell what will happen. But the kind of retributive politics that we see in Bangladesh, and which is has come back in cycles every few years,
Right.
that they will have to deal with internally at some point of time.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Riva Ganguly Das, Ambassador Das. Thank you for being with us.